over that second
Go.
primaries or order.
Well, I thought,
And so
Yeah.
you're sitting
Thanks,
there
man.
Glad to be here.
8:30, we have the other week on the So I'm all for it.
Yeah, no, just say, I guess everyone a little bit bigger voice.
And you feel like you're getting more of a fair shake.
Exactly.
well,
Everybody has its own standing Thursday, they know, so.
Well, I passed out the packets to the individuals here and I passed out the budgets to the individuals that we requested to attend the meeting today. I think first of all, we'll probably do soil and water. Only because Michelle said that she's always last, so I thought we'd give her a little treat today.
Hey, Karen, can I ask you to do something first, just so we're all, kind of know, like, what's the state of, what are we getting this year? What are we getting total this year as far as, I would say fresh money, and then
Was one of the points.
bonds.
So the total max. I apologize. The total max allowed for the general fund from 2024 to 2025 is $1.886 million. After you take into account mandates, the levy for quarter start, and some of the other additionals that we've already passed this year, i.e. Jake's positions in parks, a couple of the psychiatric services. So after that, we are right around $1.5 million in new monies. And that pretty much starts to kick off for tonight. Today, going forward, is the debt clock, calculator, whatever you want to call it, is
St. James.
Yeah.
Here.
is about 1.5 million.
You don't know the secret match?
I wanna know, see.
You don't know the secret match,
I
Jeremy?
wanna know.
We literally just started, so.
All right, so just a real quick recap for Councilman Rivas. So from 2024 to 2025, speaking only general fund, new monies that we could possibly have is about 1.886 million. After you take away the Porter Stark levy increase, after you take away mandates and some of the other increases that we've already passed this year, like Parks has a new person and a half. Psychiatric services, a couple of the other funds that we approved this year, then that leaves us just shy of 1.5 million in new monies, basically starting with the budgets here today. So we're at about 1.5 million and the total asks are about 3.7.
No problem.
Yeah.
We're first, right? So it shouldn't be an issue.
So, with that being said, that's where we are with new monies. And again, that's only general fund speaking, so.
Well, like I said, I think it's always a good time, whether, to ask for 3.7, we have 1.5 at least, honestly, I want to know everybody's concerns, like, hey, look, I know, we had one person for the park, two people for the parks, I appreciate that, but, going forward, if we do this, like a 5-year plan, this is what we might want to do eventually, veteran services, we'd like to do this, just, talk and see where we're gonna be 5 years, just to kind of really have the money now to do things, but hopefully in the future, we can at least have some ideas on where we want to be. That's, and I like that. Happen.
Any questions so far?
Okay, Michelle, on your report, where you're looking at additional hourly, and I guess that was a question. There's a couple questions that you were discussing. Number one is you're saying you're retiring in 2 years. And that you would like to have, someone to train for your position. My first question is, who picks your successor? Does it go through a regular process?
Yes,
Okay,
we have a board of supervisors, 5 board members. 3 are elected, 2 are appointed. They serve 3-year term. And they come to board meetings every month. You get copies of the minutes, so you kind of know what's going on every month. And actually, they have an oath that they take for the state of Indiana. So it's kind of just like any elected position on a ballot, except it's done at an annual meeting. Each year we have an annual meeting. They're voted in by the landowners attending. So they are the ones that do the hiring.
okay, so let us say if you make a recommendation, it's probably easy to say that they'll follow your recommendation for the individual after you train them for 2 years, or how does that work?
Well, this is such a new situation because since 1952, we've only had 1 or 2 people in the office. And so about, I suppose 1970, they added the engineering technician. So in all those years, we've just had 2 employees. The issue right now is that I visit schools and I'm not able to keep up with the number of requests that I receive. So that's the most pressing issue. Right now, school hasn't started. My calendar is full for the year. I have 37 classrooms on the wait list. That's going to increase when school starts because teachers will start answering their emails. I'll get a lot of requests. Can you come and visit us? And I really hate to say no, but I have no choice because I wear 2 hats. I'm the administrator, I'm the educator. So the goal is to have a part-time educator to help pick up the slack and hopefully be the person that could step into my job in a couple of years when I retire. It's a multifaceted job. We report to the State Board of Accounts. I've been audited 4 times over the years that I've been employed with the Soil and Water Conservation District. We've successfully passed that audit each and every time within the comments. I would hate for the comments to start when I leave. And so someone really needs to have a little background about what's involved with the position. Because in addition to doing that administrative work, when you're going to the schools, you have to be professional. You have to know how to present the programs, how to interact with the teachers so that you're presenting what they need, because it's not then a waste of their time. And that, I think, is why the programs have been successful. They're trying to meet the Indiana academic standards. I go through the Indiana academic standards, and I kind of tailor the programs to meet those. Everybody talks about STEM. We're teaching science, technology, engineering, and math. Well, guess what? Teachers tell me by the time I get through English and math, I don't have time for science. So I'm glad you can come into the class. So again, that pressing need right now is for that part-timer to help with the education programs, but then also hopefully be the person that would be able to step into the administrative position. But again, I don't know. Maybe that part-time person would want to just stay part-time.
And so that's why we wanted to sort of a little more
Sure.
detail on it, because when we talked, it was like preparation for them to take the position, and I didn't know if it was already, your recommendation would be the one that they would act upon, and I'm sure we take it into consideration, but you never really know how to.
That's
There's
exactly-
some ones that are not.
The discussion hasn't gotten that far because we need to, of course, have someone part-time in place. And at that point, then, based on the individual, would you like to step into a full-time job or do you want to stay part-time?
Now you have a 29 per hour rate. And I think that's higher than our regular hourly rate. How many hours would you be looking at?
Well, I would say about 20 hours a week, maybe more during the school year when they're busier. I've also started to write small grants in order for us to fund projects like our field day that we're having on September 4th. Mr. Stone was at the council meeting and got the announcement about that. Hopefully, Mr. Rivas will be able to pop into at Ruby's Farm on September the 4th. But in order to have those programs where the speaker's fee is $7,000, you have to find money someplace. So I'm sure you've read the letter that I wrote. We're covering a lot of the expenses from employee generated funds, grants. It's not a big check coming from the state. So from our sales, our grants, agreements with the federal government, we're able to bring in additional dollars, so we don't have to come to you and say, guess what? You're giving us roughly $33,000. Now we need $60,000 in order to have a field day and in order to continue our education programs. So our board feels strongly about not asking for anything we don't need. And you know, farmers are business people. So running a business, a multi-million-dollar business, they understand that we can't just come in here willy-nilly and say, we want this. It's not a matter of want, we need it.
Okay, we have your hourly for this year at 2,100. Does that just cover your board meetings?
The board meetings,
Okay,
exactly.
so you're asking for post of 34,395 for 2025 year. That, did the increase go with the board meetings? Was there an increase or is it just your hourly that you're looking at?
Just pretty much the hourly is the basic increase. In addition, the state association that we are all members of, soil and water conservation districts across the state, pay dues. And so that was an increase as well. So that was our major increase.
I guess my question would be that the educator, you have $15,000, but then you have it proposed at 34,395.
Correct. We were talking about that. We thought we probably won't get someone with a college degree for $15,000 a year. So we were trying to figure what would be a fair amount to offer in order to get someone that's suitable to do the position.
Well, that's why I'm a little concerned because you had it on the 144 stating 15,000, but
That was from last year.
but it states 2025. On the report.
Well.
Look at the bottom
And
part when you're talking
that's
about-
obviously an error.
Take the 15,000.
Yes, just take, this form came kind of pre-filled into me.
Right.
Yeah, we'll
And
just make a,
so.
no, yeah, no worries, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure it was all in place. and
Yes,
These are things,
yes.
things that cost.
Yes, if you could delete that, that would be great.
What are you deleting?
On the 144, where they've got an educator on the bottom for hourly, we're taking off the $15,000 because that was there from the previous year she pays.
This is not, of course, as you know, I've been to the council meeting before asking for money for a position, and so they asked from previous visits.
Okay, but it's still a 29 per hour. So it's-
Which I would give them about 22 hours a week. So that would fit still with what they're looking for.
Okay, well, those are the only questions I have. It's one of the procedure. Anyone else have questions?
I would see a question of last year, but I think we've asked a little bit for the last couple of years. Working with, stormwater, you know,
Mhm.
you know, kind of what. Are you working with stormwater?
Yes,
What
in
is the
fact-
duplication of services? What, you know, why? What's the main?
Okay.
Part that could.
Well, actually, soil and water conservation districts from their origin in the 1930s with the Great Depression and the Dust Bowl were kind of given the mandate by the state to address erosion and sedimentation issues in the state of Indiana. So there's all kinds of code on that I can send to you, et cetera. Stormwater, we are cooperating with them. In fact, I invited Chelsea to set up a table at our field day. They do not have an educator. And so as far as the education services, that's not a duplication because they don't have an educator to present programs on erosion, sedimentation, soil-related issues. So I hope that offers an understanding. And Chelsea has also been great about coming to our board meetings. She has a farm background. I don't know if you knew that or not. And of course, that just fits in very nicely with our group. So we're looking forward to having her in a field day, looking forward to cooperating with her more.
If you don't mind sending me some of the feedback codes, I would love to. Better.
Anything else? Any other questions that you have of us?
No, I can't think of any.
How's it feel to be first?
Got it right out of the way. Right? Get it right out of the way.
One of our board members that would always come with me, he has unfortunately passed away, but we would sit in the back and we'd watch the clock and say, I think we're next, I think we're next. So it is amazing, I love it.
Yeah, that's all I had, or any questions I had.
Did you want me to stay or you want me to get out of
It's your
here?
decision.
Okay, I'll sit here for a few minutes if that's okay.
Veterans,
Hello.
how you doing?
Good.
Oh, I don't know if I had any major questions. Is there anything that you want to?
So I've written a dollar raise for the part-timers here as a request, but on the 144, I didn't, and I just forgot to pay it back. I'm actually not going to be asking for a dollar raise for them because they got a pretty good raise last year.
So you're talking about the assistants,
Right, the two assistants,
so you're leaving it at 25?
leaving at 25. The only thing I'm asking, and I'm not asking for anything else as far as our general operating costs. I just shuffled some money around, which I'm sure I can explain to you later. We don't need, our copy machine anymore because I got rid of the lease. And I was able to get some more copy machines that were not being used. And then I took that money and asked them to move it to training. She said, there's no problem.
Yep.
We're not asking for any more training because those costs have gone up. And then the only other thing is a 3% raise for the salary.
I had a question. Your hourly went up. Was that including the additional $1 per hour for your individuals?
When you talk about the $25 per hour,
Well, no, your hourly from 2024 was 60,320, but in 2025 it's 78.
I might have factored it, I apologize.
That was a factor.
So it goes
Yeah.
back to 60.
So yeah, it'll go back, because I'm not gonna need that. I talked to both of them, and the other retired, and we're just happy to be here. So I said, well, you can give me your money.
So you really just moved maintenance agreements up to your training and education?
Correct.
Correct.
You already added a 3% raise. Yes. And I apologize, I meant to correct the stuff with 25 plus per hour. Well, I didn't do it. Spent all the money we gave you, or did, right away? Right away, or how's your supplies? I'm trying to meter them out, and probably the office manager goes crazy and starts handing things out. But I try to have her do it like for stand downs and, run into veterans. I found that the fair didn't really work out very well, because just, you have a small percentage of veterans, you just have all the people running through and grabbing everything, yeah. We really want stuff to go to veterans or their families, so, really so they can get the word out. I find that our best advertisement is actually word of mouth. We have people that, I get calls, they say, hey, my buddy, saw you in Valparaiso, but I live in Maine, can still see me, well, I don't turn you away. Yeah, absolutely. Then, of course, we get a lot of people from around here too. I would say just let us know. If you need, more stuff to. Maybe in the future, I just don't want to, run out right away. I want that stuff to last, the taxpayers' money is important. I'm trying to be strategic about it. I guess the best way to explain it.
Yeah, but so is getting the word
Yeah,
out.
yeah, that's.
Well, you never know at the fair, some kid, you might think, oh, he's taking one. What's he gonna do? Well,
Can give
maybe his
dad
uncle,
or
his
daughter,
uncle or
yeah.
dad might be having a
Yeah,
problem.
so actually, we asked that, oh, a veteran?
Yeah.
We'll still give it to him. but
Yeah.
I stopped
That's
doing
what,
it.
you never know. It's always interesting. You never know who takes it.
Talking about what you talked about before you walked in about the future.
Yeah.
So we've kind of gotten past the backpack stuff for the last 2 years. We had a huge influx, but our population went down by a little bit here in the county. But now you're gonna see the Gulf War veterans from that 20-year episode start to come in about probably 5 years. It's gonna get crazy. Because all those guys in the very first part of the war are around their 50s now. And once they retire, they're gonna start coming in a lot. So in 5 years, I think this place is gonna be really good. I might not be around, but, it's gonna be nuts.
It's good to know. I didn't.
Oh, you gotta think every time you have war, those guys will come back and then they'll work a regular job or whatever they're gonna do. And as they get older, they have more health problems. They start seeking those benefits because they need them, because now they're getting closer to retirement, or they're just having a hard time and they need those benefits.
I think did I talk to you about the lady that was my neighbor? I thought I talked to you or something.
Might have.
It was she was going to Maryville to try and get help with her husband dying. He was a veteran.
I think so, yeah.
I'm like, well, you know, we have a veteran service in Port Augusta. I didn't know that.
We get that a lot.
Yeah, yeah, so.
Well, we have people from other counties come to our office for whatever reason, and they come in there, they say, well, I actually live in, Marshall County. I
Right.
said, well, you have an office in Marshall County, but if you want to see us, no problem.
Yeah,
And we're one of the offices where we have enough people here, we don't turn away anyone.
Thank you, yeah, let us know.
Our expenditures did go up for this year, but we need an additional 5,566,000, and that's with the population decrease, so that's pretty good. That means we're clearing more cases despite the fact that we have a smaller population. And you gotta expect that the guys from the Vietnam era now, the late 70s, early 80s, they're gonna start disappearing.
You can see my dad.
Hopefully he goes another 20 years. Well, I mean, a lot of those guys,
Yeah.
especially that got close to age more,
Yeah,
they're,
yeah,
they're dying of cancer,
yeah.
right? Unfortunately.
Gentlemen, did you want to address the 3% that he's asking for?
I mean, I can address it, but I think we can all address it, that we're probably gonna wait till the end and see what we have and then go from there with raises, that would happen.
Brian?
But we always did.
Yeah.
We take them out and they put it in.
Okay,
That's what we have.
Yeah.
I just want him to be prepared when he sees the budget that it may not be there.
Yeah, whatever it is fine, I'm not, I understand.
It's not a no, it's just a.
Right.
We'll try to look it up.
I understand.
Well, you already cut 18,000 from our list, so kudos on that.
But, yeah, and I'm speaking. Yeah, try to pull them out, but I've always worked hard to get. Great.
Well, it's very greatly appreciated.
I have nothing else.
You need me to hang out here until?
Oh, you don't
yeah.
have to.
Okay, well, I just got a contractor in my house, I gotta go meet stuff, sorry. There you go, thank you very much for your time.
Well,
Thank you, I appreciate it.
And Jay, we love Jay. And he's wearing the State Farm slacks.
Oh, yeah, no. It just kind of embodies when I got on here. How I think people do think about taxpayers' money, you know. He has materials that he wants to get them out, and he's strategically doing it because he doesn't want to run out, because
Exactly.
you have other counties, other cities that they would buy out,
Yeah.
and give them out to everybody because they're gonna go somewhere, so, and I guess
There's one, I think, other key factor in that one specifically, well, actually a lot of these. But he also doesn't have any funny funds. He doesn't have any other revenue whatsoever. He has this budget, same with soil and water. This is pretty much, I think, what you get, one little grant or something like that. I mean, Jake, you have a little bit more to play with, but at the same time, a lot of that's also already allocated, already, used, spent. So I think it's also that key factor of, a lot of this, most of the general fund departments don't have these funny funds, and they know this is all they have to work with. So they really do try to squeeze every nickel and dime out of it that they can.
Oh, I know they do,
No, but I mean, they do,
example,
but they do an awesome job of also not
Yeah.
going crazy
Right.
either, and, just blowing out their, inventory or,
right.
My favorite two words, free shipping. Exactly.
I think my wife's favorite two words. Or next day delivery. Or next day. Or next, yeah, it's really about the next day delivery. Free shipping from Amazon, I think, With grandkids, so it's like, Brett, I just sent you something, buy it, please. It's like a little put for a grandkid. I'm like, oh, God, here we go.
Well, I just ordered 3,000 magnifying glasses to distribute to the kids when I go to visit. Of course, they're pretty heavy, even though they're plastic. Well, I got 20% off plus free shipping because I ordered them within the window of the sale. And I mean, that's a pretty significant.
Yeah,
example.
it is.
So,
Okay, Jake, we have a substantial amount of information in front of us. We have your 2024 building and structure inventory. We have your parts, vehicle and equipment inventory. We also have your Parks and Recreation plan for the $400,000 that you have. And one of the other pages shows all the, funds that you have, which is the covered bridge, capital, which is 400,000 for the plan. Then you've got your $337,000 in operating, you have the wildlife management donation, then you have the other Akiki Park. I don't know what you're gonna do with that 32 cents or 5 cents, but you need to really spend that carefully.
We gotta
And
watch
then you've got
this.
the Parks Community Foundation, which is a total of 890, 256, 67. In front of us, we have two different budgets. One is the park operating budget and the other is the general fund. Do you want to explain some of this information?
Yeah,
Changes?
yeah, I can, kind of go a little bit in the general fund. Because we're fortunate to get those two positions, through this year. We decided not to ask for much of anything else new, as far as additional funds.
Learn.
I believe I believe the one request we did keep in was an increase in utilities, specifically into power.
Yeah.
Uh,
So the way I look at it, yeah, you went down in building an RMM. Your compliance testing, that pretty much covers your increase of power. I look at that as pretty much a transfer. And then really your only ask was just a little bit more an hourly, and that's more of a technicality more than anything, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you just rounded it to 170 instead of and
Yeah, I think we went
So
to
I-
down to 170 instead of 176.
so as you can see there, total really what he's asking for is 5,300. In the general fund.
53.15.
Yeah. The reason that the salary line is in orange is because we've already passed that and it's already been accounted for in the, yeah, so along with the mandates, along with the quarter start, this has already been accounted for, so.
In our operating fund, it was largely the same. The only real increases we did there were the salary and the associated benefits with it, for like the insurance. And then we moved a little bit of money around because we're getting ready to start construction on the amphitheater. I talked to the contractors a good day. We're getting pretty close to hammering down a real date next week. Talking this morning, we're looking at like a Wednesday morning. It's when work's gonna start showing up out there. So we moved a little bit of money around, put some more back into event expenses so we can put on more stuff out at the amphitheater and start utilizing it more. That's really the only changes we made in our operating budget. We've got a lot of development and a lot of building stuff that we're getting ready to start working on. We've got a playground we're gonna start working on, another shelter. We're getting ready to remove a couple of our dilapidated structures, start cleaning some stuff up.
And just so everyone understands, the 400,000 that they have allocated for these shelters and playgrounds and parks, that was from the sale
Yeah, that was the pie property.
of the Pine property, so that
Mr.
money.
Gregorich bought that, I believe.
Yep, yes, he did.
John Gregorich.
Well, that would be the information on this.
Yeah,
Yeah, so when he's speaking of those terms, they have their parks general fund, they have their parks operating fund, and then now they have their parks capital fund. The capital fund is the 400,000.
Is that the Hawk Ridge property?
No, so Hawk Ridge is actually on my
Okay,
plans of stuff to build a trail system. I'm gonna work on the Landwater Conservation Fund grant for that. But it's close. They're in the
okay.
same.
We were involved in a pollinator planting there about 3 years ago.
Yeah, no, this was a farm field that we had up on the county line that never quite made another master plan for development of use. So we figured it was better off as capital to address the other issues we got going on.
Have you met the gentleman for the building trades up there for their technical program out there?
We've talked a few times. I've actually set up a meeting on Monday to meet out there with the teacher. So they've actually started setting furniture and stuff like that now, so. we're getting-
That'd be
we're
nice.
Getting ready.
That'd be nice to see him do some stuff out there, because
Yeah.
free equipment, and then hopefully free material from different places, you know, we can.
That's part of what we're gonna talk about, Monday is, the class schedule and some of the projects that he helps out with.
I think you're gonna keep them busy.
Oh, yeah. We're gonna keep-
Good, okay,
We've got a lot of work for them, so. We're not gonna run out of projects for us.
good.
Did you get both of the positions filled?
Yep, we were able to fill, the naturalist the next day and the maintenance one the next day, so. We were in a fortunate spot. I know a lot of people are struggling with hiring right now. We had part-time people that I knew I wanted to move into the full-time position, so we were able to fill them immediately.
Good.
Good thing you had the votes. Ryan, where did the,
You know where I stood on that, you know, we know where I stood on
So-
that.
we had to take the shot, man, it was there.
Yeah.
Someone would call me and told me, hey, I got 2 part-time people, I wanna move up, I didn't know that, you just wanna
That's
put
the
out for
amount they
natural,
raised
so.
so far.
Our life is communication, right?
And then, as
He
you
only
see,
talks to me at the meeting,
he's.
I vote on what I vote on. Right.
Say 100,000.
Yeah.
So he's gonna take 100,000 out of
Oh,
the
yeah,
capital fund.
I only know what I know at the meeting, so that's why we're talking here, that's why I think these are great, we got a 5-year plan, that I can go, oh,
240.
Jake has a 5-year plan, I remember that.
So
believe it or
that's
not,
more
from
just of a.
3 years ago, oh,
transfer.
okay, I do remember that, Jake, when we talked about it, you know? So that's why I said having these meetings is nice, to kind of, you know?
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier to, let everybody know what's going on.
Yeah.
Well, and I don't think you were here when they implemented the liaison system. Mr. Rivas was, but I love that we could talk with our liaisons ahead of time. So I usually bring a board member or two and they can say, oh, that seems feasible, that doesn't. So I love that.
She called you old, Jeremy.
That's okay, it started when I was.
Yeah.
I'm not
I am old.
anything to that. If it was in the 90s, I'd probably still in high school.
Oh, you even born?
Yeah. I was definitely born in high school, 92 graduate, so.
That's still diapers.
Born in 92.
Jake, are your Kiki donations coming like from individuals or like, how does that kind of roll
So,
in?
yeah, so the Yonki Key Fund is largely funded by the crop of the. we have
Oh,
crop-
okay, oh, okay.
So all the funds generated from that crop, we just go right into that.
Nice.
Right,
Oh,
all funds. That's how that's been funding so far. Well, I should have a new preliminary budget on what phase 1 will cost. I'm hoping I cut enough of it off to make it
Hey, you know,
palatable.
speaking of that, I saw something on here. It says signage for county parks.
Yep.
What exactly you plan doing that? Just because I don't know if the tourism, but they're doing a sign campaign
So
around
we've
Walker
got,
County, so I didn't know if that's something maybe you could,
I'll talk to tourism.
yeah. I didn't
I'm
know if
working with
that's-
them on doing they provide us funds to the innkeeper's tax. So we work with them pretty closely.
Right, I knew they kind of gave you guys a little bit of money, but I'm just saying, if it's signage for county parks, I don't know if it's like, hey, come to, because, you know, like if it's a.
So this is largely for like the entrance signs at
Entrance
all the
signs.
parks, that was all, because we don't have one at Brookdale, we don't have one at Dunn's Bridge. We'll need to put one out at Hockey Key, we'll put one out at Hockey
Just a
Ridge.
thought though, maybe if there's like one of your big events, maybe they can, sponsor a sign of 49 or something from the digital one to kind of give you
Yeah,
more.
we actually work with them a lot.
Okay, yeah, no, I just, that's what I signed it, I'm like, well, I know they're doing a sign campaign, so maybe you guys can get together and, they can put up a sign at some of your bigger events. so.
Yes, that's largely like our entrance signs, to make them all the same, and then like wayfinding signs inside the park.
I think it'd be nice for Sunset Hill to have one. Are you gonna put one on sick? Like, that's gonna be really nice.
Yeah, that's actually met with,
Yeah.
You want
I met with Legacy Signs
Oh,
early this
top.
Monday.
So-
They'll work on getting us a quote at the
Yeah.
time for a new digital sign out on 6 Meridian. So we can get rid of that single letter sample board style that we got up there.
Shop them signs around, that's what I was like. for a couple of different ones.
Yeah, we've been, I've talked to Legacy and I talked to, Soccer on that. The two local that get some prices through.
I was shocked that design, same everything. I was just like, you guys even have a job or just, are you kidding me?
I've had
I
some
was just-
that real high.
Yeah. I think it's all workload. If they need a job, they'll do it for, a decent price.
Well, I'm building a relationship. We've used the same sign guy for years, and he always gives us a good deal.
We use for a lot of our like event signage, our banners and sponsorship signs, we use, Simco most of the time. Cause they're usually right, and they can get stuff for us
Pretty quick.
like the next day.
Yeah.
Which is fantastic. But sometimes we don't know all the information.
So
Day
day
before,
before, you're calling them up.
Yeah, but hey,
Change
sorry,
the hours.
sorry, guys.
Is there anything else for Jake?
No,
Jeremy had a question with reference to a report that Ryan has, and what was the question?
Yeah, the additionals. We've got 4.6 million. I don't know what we are to date, but certainly it's not 4.6. But
Today, 300,000.
which one's this, Jeremy? Do I have this one?
yeah,
Oh,
Ryan emailed it out.
Oh, no, I
So,
have. But I don't
Yeah, you have
Oh,
it. So the reason that is including the 4.3 million transfer on this month's council meeting for the health insurance fund.
but where's it coming from? I guess like.
Well, it wasn't funded, so it's coming out of the,
It's coming from the insurance or the interest money from the treasurer's office.
we appropriate money, but we don't know it's funded. That's the problem with the health insurance.
This is one of the things, yeah, that we need to clear up. So while you guys, you keep talking, every year we throw 100,000, 200,000 at the budget, which is great. The problem is it hasn't been funded correctly for years. So it's been underfunded in the general fund for a long time, which is why the general fund keeps growing the way it's growing. So the problem is that with a max growth quotient, so we can only go up to 1.886. So you either burn it all on health insurance to refund it, or you do it slowly over time. My projection is this year we have to do 4.3. I already did next year's projections. It's gonna be around 3.4. The next year should be about 2.3. So it's gonna slowly keep going down because we are gonna
You're gonna keep adjusting.
but we can't do it all just one big bump. Because we could, but then you tell everyone no one gets anything.
And that's where we have, like say, revenue coming in at 10 million, but it actually costs us like 13 million. So that's what we have to make up that 3 million from somewhere.
Exactly.
And every year we're chipping at it, but it would take us 30 years, 30
Yeah.
years at 100 grand to chip.
So, yes, and so with building stuff up in lit fund, with building health insurance up in foundation fund, that's also helping knock that down more significantly. So not just the general fund is the only one helping it go down, but over the years, it's always been ARPA money. It's always been influx of this money or that money. And so, but it's never been correctly budgeted for when it comes to funding it. So we have a $12.5 million budget, but we only have $9.5 million funded.
And part of the problem is the departments that are supposed to be covering their own health insurance do not, which causes a substantial unavailability of funds, which also causes the fact that we have to go back to the general fund and start pulling it out.
And,
I mean, when you've got the prosecutors, 911, used to be Memorial Opera House, and they're all supposed to be covering their own and they don't.
so it's been shortages from that. But it's just been generally underfunded in the general for quite some time.
Have we raised the amount, per person to
The
the,
commissioners are working on that right now. They're doing some, they had a meeting this morning. They're looking at the options of the deductibles. They're also looking at the overall cost. They're doing some comparison shopping. And, so we'll have more information as to which route that's gonna go, because they were talking about dropping the traditional health insurance and going with a high deductible.
But to your point, Jeremy, it's not the number, the 19,551 per person. That number's not wrong. It's just the amount of people. So in the general fund, say we have 400 employees. We only ever budgeted 200. We never budgeted for the full 400. It just wasn't done. So, I mean, that's the reason that the general fund has been growing at the rate it's been growing. But
We didn't do any kind of large additional last year. I know you guys had mentioned some stuff early on, but then you know, whether the claims leveled out or.
it's because right before Vicky left, you guys passed in the December meeting, a $1.8 million
Right.
ARPA influx.
Well,
So
that's
that carried all 2023.
Which is 1.8, not 4.3.
Well, it's because they also got $2 million the year before in ARPA money. So,
We're building the fund up, but
and at that time too, the cost was only around maybe 10.5, 11 million. And now the cost has grown all the way up to 12 million because of fees, because of.
do we have that? I know we talked about that last meeting. Do we have the true cost?
Yeah.
From last year and the last couple of years?
Yeah. I can send that to you.
Yeah, send that to me too.
Yes, sir.
And you're saying it's about 12 million?
Yep.
In their true cost.
But we only budget for what, 10 or 9, 10?
Yeah.
And that's total from what we budgeted out of the general fund, out of everybody
Out
else.
of everyone.
Individuals.
And I have,
Pools together.
I have that whole updated too, so I can show you exactly how much comes out of each fund.
And wasn't that one of the reasons why I asked the parks on the 2 people that you hired, are you guys picking up the insurance, you said?
Yes, we got half of it.
Yeah, so
Half of the one, so you'd be picking up 1.5.
correct. Yes. So, and that's all been included and accounted for in his number. Like in your per and.
And you're saying right now that last year cost whatever,
12.5.
12.5, that's what we're trending towards this year.
So right now, and I looked at those numbers today, right now the numbers are trending more towards 12 million this year. So, I mean, again, and that's the whole thing is with county insurance, the way we do it. You never ever know because everyone could go 9 months without doing anything. And in those last 3 months, they're gonna get every single dime of their deductible and then some. It's always the end of the year, the last 3 months that absolutely destroy us. Because everyone has said their deductible and then it's. Just to see, I mean, some years are great, you know, some years are just.
Family with 4 kids, man, we get our deductible, and it's like something happens, it's like, dude, we just had our deductible. Now I got to pay another $5,000. Are you kidding me, Rachel? Yeah, well, can't tell you when your kids get hurt, you know? Oh,
Braces.
yeah, I never had, for 20 years, I never had dental, we had it all out of pocket for us. This is the first year we've ever had dental, because we got in with 63, which is Ironwork plan. They allow employers to sign on their offices, which is really great.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're in a bigger pool of people,
Sure.
instead of 20, now I got 1,800 people to, yeah, so that's, now we have dental, vision, and stuff I've never had.
So you're guessing we're underfunding them? What'd you say? We're funding at 9 or 10 million right now?
Sure.
All in, from everybody?
Yes.
So we're just 3.5,
Just
just
to
3
get that
million.
paid one.
Really think that's.
What are the
Put
other
it down,
people?
Put it down.
Yeah, and I'll be able to
And
show
it's like 3 or 5 years ago.
you. Yeah, I'll show you year after year after year.
Who's next? Who you have on the docket for next Thursday?
Today's this Thursday.
Hey, you know, it'd be great
Corner
if
and
we
you
could
got.
get, if we could get GIS here.
Just Chuck?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
All right,
GIS
whoa, 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 whoa.
GIS.
Wait.
Which
You're
GIS?
talking insurance?
Insurance.
Okay.
Well,
I knew where he was going and I knew where he was going and it went the same place.
You have to really the commissioners are working.
Oh,
with
would they
it.
have to ask?
You,
Okay.
they meet with and have that on Thursday. They have their insurance meetings on Thursday.
Okay.
And so touch base with them and find out, because I know they're working with GIS on something.
Yeah, I've never, like I said, I've never, not, I'm not a commissioner, I get that, but it'd just be nice to say.
Well,
hey,
we actually met with them. It would have to have been 3-4 months ago, maybe longer than that, because we had some questions with reference to benefits and then billing and things of that sort, because we handle the billing and pay the situation right now is we're addressing the fact that dental and vision haven't gone up in ages. They haven't really been visiting those. And I think dental is like $1,200 benefit, and it's been that for years. And so they're doing some comparison shopping, apples to apples, because of the fact that it's what, every 2 years they do their contract, so it's about that time to do the comparison shopping. Anything else, Jake?
No, so you guys got some more questions for me? We're building a lot of stuff right now.
The only thing that I could think to ask you is if, and again, no rush, but if you can look over the asset sheets and just really double check to make sure like, hey, you know, we got rid of this. Hey, this is a duplicate. Hey, we actually added this.
Yeah, I'm gonna,
Go ahead, Karen.
I think those are the asset sheets you provided to us.
Yep.
Their asset sheets, I haven't given.
Oh,
Because we're having that problem, I was working with the sheriff's department first, because of missing,
Got it.
titles and things of that sort. And so I will get you our current asset sheet.
Okay.
Because you have the additional playground equipment, things of that sort, and we just sent that over to John Peterson. And he actually was out of town last week, so I wasn't able to get any updates.
okay. I thought it was.
No, these are the ones he provided to us in April.
Got it.
That's why I thought they'd be familiar to him.
yeah. It'll look, it'll look right.
So then next week, yeah, we have corner.
Thursday,
Thursday.
looking around for that.
Thank you all for coming, we appreciate it.
Thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
See, when you ask your
When, I kind of got used to that waiting till the end stuff. I always say, well, they saved the best for last, you know.
That's
Did you want me to carry these up to Joy?
Oh, no,